Yo, people. Good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to my new show, a show called Tell Us About Your Club. Do you know what? I was thinking to myself, let me look for someone to do this show with. But you know what? I thought to myself, I might as well be the first person to actually do the show because I want to talk to you guys about my club, isn't it? Um, this isn't like about a fan or anything like that. This is just talk to me about your club, isn't it? So some of the things that I'm going to talk about may I may get certain things wrong because some of my long-term memory is a bit rubbish. You have to understand that I've been supporting this club since 1986. So, I'm not going to remember everything, but I'm going to talk to you about my club. I'm going to talk to you about some of my memories, you know, who my favorite manager is, who my favorite player is, my aspirations for the club going forward, my major disappointments, and just general, talk about my club because it's tell us about your club. So you know what? Hopefully in the future we'll be getting new guests on and we'll be talking to them about their club. They're gonna be talking about their club. I'm just gonna be sitting there asking questions, etc. etc. So let's start off with how I first got into football in the first place. And this will lead on to obviously my club, isn't it? So, as a youngster, 5 years old, I remember my dad bringing me home an England kit. First England kit, it was an Admiral England kit. Well, like kind of like, let me just show you the kit actually, England Admiral kit. It was for, and believe me, I can still remember this kit to this day, man. Where is it? It's this one. Terry Butcher and them man there. This one. Viv Anderson and them man there. Let me just share this. Big up to Jeffrey in the building, man. So there's this kit here. I remember, look at how much it is now, £324. I remember my dad buying me the whole kit, the shorts, the socks, and that was my first ever kit, that I ever got. And it was an England kit, it wasn't a club kit. So, that was madness. My dad, obviously, he was a West Ham fan. And he loved West Ham because of the World Cup. England winning the World Cup in 1966, obviously. Bobby Charlton, Jack Charlton, all them man there. And yeah, my journey into the football world was like, I used to play football quite a lot as a youngster, playing outside, with the gang, doing kick-ups, curveball, just playing on the streets. And a lot of kids growing up, learn their skills kicking a ball at the wall and, perfecting their first touch. So you boot the ball against the wall, you bring it down and you touch the ball, and all their memories, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Doing kick-ups, competitions with your mates. Like, I can do 50, I'll do 100, Obviously, you've got like your two, in the streets, yeah, you'll have like your two, I don't know, jumpers down or something like that. And you just be playing like headers and volleys, the first into 10, and there'll be scenarios and all of these things, man. It was just brilliant back in the day. But anyway, I'm going a bit too back into history. But so I'll be real with you, yeah. Growing up, when you're a youngster, yeah, and you watch football, you fall in love with footballers. Let's be honest with you. You don't fall in love with the actual team itself. You fall in love with a player that you really like. And to be honest, growing up, I'll be honest with you, I loved Liverpool. Yeah, for about a year or so. Yeah, I really liked Liverpool, because I just loved the way they played. They had players like Kenny Dalglish, Ian Rush. They had man like Sammy Lee. I can't remember the full team back in the day. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to look that up. But I remember I used to like Liverpool back in the day. And when you're a kid, 6, 7 you're 8 year old, you just love watching football. Yeah, good football being played. And yeah, that was like my experience growing up. But what changed it for me, obviously, is going down to Highbury, innit? Getting on the train, going down to Highbury. I remember like standing outside of Highbury, man, seeing my first stadium and thinking, wow, this is amazing. What game was it? Was it Arsenal versus QPR or something that I went to? I can't remember the exact game I went to, but I remember being in the Highbury Stadium, yeah, and the stadium was ram jam, yeah, and the vibes there was just amazing. And from that day, I just said to myself, this is going to be my team. The likes of, we had the players like the likes of Alan Smith, David Rocastle, very skillful. Man, who else did we have? Tony Adams, George Graham, the likes of, I ain't going to do the Arsenal history and more thing, yeah, but, man like Steve Bold, did I mention Michael Thomas as well? So those are the types of players, yeah, that, Paul Davis. I remember all these players, yeah. So let's go to 1989 now. So 1989, I can remember it was Liverpool and Arsenal scrapping, and this was the first division times. Yeah, this ain't Premier League business. This is first division. I remember the two teams, yeah, scrapping for that title, that first title that I was going to ever see in my whole life. And the major game, it got down to the wire, isn't it? And the last game, Arsenal needed to win by 2 goals to win the league that year. And I can remember watching it from home on a mash-up TV, yeah? The TV, no remote control, no HD. I think it might have been on ITV, the game, if I can remember. ITV, weren't no HD or anything like that. And I just remember, watching that game, and what a game it was. I remember the JVC kit that we had, the lovely kit, away kit. I just remember that game just being tense for all fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans. And I can remember who got the first goal. Was it Alan Smith that scored the first goal in that game? I can't even actually remember who scored the first goal. So let me just, was it Alan Smith that scored? I think it was Alan Smith that scored that in that game. As I said, my memory of that game is a little bit skewed, so forgive me if I've not got everything correct. Let me see who the scorers were. Yeah, Alan Smith scored from a header. Yeah, I remember he scored from a header. And then, yeah, in stoppage time, yeah. Boy, this is probably one of my favourite moments of Arsenal, man. Is like in stoppage time. I remember the ball got passed through to Michael Thomas, and Michael Thomas has kind of like kicked it, and he's got got fortunate with the ball rebounding off the player and then coming back into his path, isn't it? And he's gone through and he's nicked it with the outside of his foot and he scored. And that was one of like I think one of my best Arsenal moments, man. You know, winning the title at Liverpool, who at the time, Liverpool were the best team without a doubt in the league, without a doubt in Europe. You know, the European champions. You know, this team had the likes of Barnes, that Leash. You know, I think they had Rush. You know, they had a great defense. Did they have Alan Hansen and them man there as well? They had a great team, and we, you know, little old Arsenal picked them to the league, and that was just a great experience winning that league. So then that kind of cemented my team, isn't it? That was the team that I wanted to support, and from then, you know, went on to support Arsenal. Obviously, George Graham. I like George Graham because he was no nonsense, wasn't he? He was a no nonsense manager. He weren't really. He weren't. He weren't one. He weren't. George Graham to me was like a Mourinho, isn't it? A modern day Mourinho. He just didn't take no shit. He was very stern, you know. So I wouldn't even say we played the best football at times, you know, because back them days it was like 1-0 to the Arsenal, you know. We win a game by 1-0, but our defense was just solid. We weren't a great team. I don't think we was a great team. I thought we was a good team, but we weren't a great team. Alan Smith, great striker, very underrated, you know. Weren't quick, but you know what? You know, his control was good. You know, he's a good finisher, good in the air, very good in the air. And very good player, man. Alan Smith. So when you want to look at strikers and stuff, yeah, do you know what I mean? You know, that was my first experience of strikers. That was Alan Smith. You know what I mean? So I've seen my team with strikers, you know, average strikers, good strikers, top strikers. So moving on from that, obviously in the 90s, George Graham got he got sacked because of the bung thing in it on a player, which took us back a bit, man, because I was very disappointed by that. You know, first time I've seen a manager get sacked and everything. I can't remember who the player was. Was it I think it was some bogus player that we sacked, bro. I mean, some bogus player that he got sacked for a bung. And it was one of them ones, innit, you know? But the thing about George Graham as well, and North London and that region is that, you know, one of the reasons why I love this club as well, because, you know what, yeah, back then, yeah, you know, the streets are racist. There's a lot of racism in the streets. Yeah, I'm going to be real. There's a lot of racism back in the streets. And, you know, people used to go to the games. You know, there used to be monkey chants, people throwing bananas onto the pitches and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't go to games, you know. And if you went to games, you had to be careful because, you know, who knows will switch on you. You know, you might be playing Millwall, you might be playing or West Ham or Chelsea or one of them teams, yeah, and you don't know leaving the stadium what could happen to you. Sorry, I've got a bit of cough. I remember as well, growing up as well, that I was more interested in playing football rather than watching football. And I remember football, you never used to get a lot of football on TV. You might get football on a Sunday or match of the day, but that was it. During the there weren't no fire sticks or satellite, you know, that you can watch football. You know, on a Saturday. Saturdays usually were, you know what, people go to the games or you're in the pubs or whatever, doing whatever. This is the title of the day, by the way, 1989. This is what I can very distinctively remember. But so yeah, I remember obviously 11, 12 years old. this is now where my career was starting as a footballer, isn't it? So I was playing a lot of football on Saturdays, going to Peterborough, places up north to play football for my district team, which was West London district team at the time. I grew up with quite a few footballers when I think about it, the likes of Kevin Gallen, who went to play for QPR, Darren Powell. Me and him were in the same school, same class. Best footballer. Me and him were the best footballers in our year. He went on to play for Brentford, Southampton, and Crystal Palace. I think he's still there as a coach. I saw him last season actually on the subs bench, not subs bench, but in the subs area when we played them. We battered them last season. For me, becoming a footballer, that was my dream. But I got injured, and I remember, that injury took me back because my game was based on speed. And although I was still quick, that injury took me back. I remember back in the day, you had to write to your clubs if you wanted a trial, isn't it? My dad used to say, "Oh, just write to the club, see if you can get a trial." And, I was successful. I remember my cousin, he wrote to Southampton to get a trial, and he got a trial. He was one of the best players there. He scored a couple of goals when he went to the trials. But them days, it wasn't about, how good you were. It was based on a lot on who you knew, yeah. And if a person liked you, then, coach liked you, they were like you. There's a lot of favoritism and based on your size and, what I'm saying, your physicality. That's what they were mainly looking for, It wasn't really about your technical ability. It was based on size, power, and all that kind of stuff back in the day. Good experience playing football. Used to play football every week, man. Every Saturday I was playing football. That's why a lot of the times when I hear certain people talking about football, I'm like, yeah, really? Doing content and being in the game are two completely things. Not saying that you can't talk on football, but when you've lived, experienced it, you know what I'm saying, and you've been in and among people that have played the game, who are your friends, that tell you about their experiences. Sometimes it's back in the day, you never used to hear this player being compared to that player. It was just like simply, this player is excellent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this player is a baller. This player is this and that. Nowadays, a player can score 15 goals in one season. He's better than this player. You know what I'm saying? He's better than that player. And it's embarrassing. There's nothing wrong with comparisons, but sometimes I find it embarrassing the way people disrespect players from past, present. I just find it very disrespectful. This player is better than that player. This player is better than that player. Why can't they both be great players? But moving away from the main topic. So tell us about your club. That's what this is based on. So obviously I've told you about my 11, 12 years, I never used to I wouldn't go to games because of obviously traveling on my own to North London, because in those days I lived in West London. And also as well, my dad was a West Ham fan. I played football quite a lot. I played football up to literally my 40s. I was winning, cups at the age of 40 as a centre back. Do you know what I'm saying? I wasn't always a centre back, but as you get older, it's just like you go from forward to back. So that's where I went, and I was winning. I won the Middlesex Cup, as a 40-year-old, against these young bucks trying to pace me out. Couldn't do it because I was too good back in the day. Do you know what I'm saying? But that's another story for another time. But going on further, and talking about, Arsenal as well. So in the 90s, obviously we done a cup double. That was great. I remember the parade and everything, being one of the most proudest, fans, seeing my team winning, trophies. Great experience in the 90s. I think it was 93. We won a cup double, I think. And as I said, people are going to come and correct me and everything. That's all good, but I can't remember. I can't remember everything back in the day, but I can remember we won a cup double. Or was it a league and a cup? I can't remember. I can't remember what it was. I'm moving on. Who is that manager that came into the club now? Who was the manager that came into the club? Forgotten his name. It was just on my. Let me see if I can find his name. I'll tell you straight away. Was he Irish? One Irish guy as well. What's his name? What is his name? Bruce Rioch. Bruce Rioch. I remember Bruce Rioch coming into the club, and Bruce Rioch, dead manager. He got us to. I'm just reading off Wiki now. He got us to 5th in the league, UEFA spot. He was sacked in 1996, and it's saying amid reports of disagreement with Vice Chairman David Dean. Then we had Stuart Houston, who came in temporarily in charge. Then Houston went on to QPR, and then that was the Wenger era. Wasn't it Rioch that brought in Bergkamp? Rioch bought Bergkamp, didn't he? I think. And Ian Wright, I believe. And this is where, I was loving football, and when Ian Wright came in, because Ian Wright was a breath of fresh air, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, he was a local South London lad. I'm not from South London, but he did. Ian Wright went to school with my my stepmother. So, he knows my stepmother, by the way. So, Ian Wright went to school with my stepmother. So there was those kind of links, to Ian Wright and stuff. And I can remember meeting him and, chatting to him and all that kind of stuff, and looking up to him as big star in it back in the day. I remember he scored 187 goals, was it 189? I can't remember. And he done the famous the vest and everything. These memories are just great memories. At one point, he was one of my favorite players in Arsenal. I remember I went out and got a book. I think it was his biography. I used to love Ian Wright as a player. Great technically, pace, goal scorer, proper goal scorer. Do you know what I mean? Left foot, right foot. I remember that goal. Who did he score against? Can't remember. We kind of lifted it with one foot, then back onto the other foot, and then he just chipped the goalkeeper, man. That guy was a baller, man, back in the day. And then from there, comes the Wenger era. If you ask me now who my favorite manager is to this day, I would say George Graham. Just for the reasons of winning us the Premier League in 1989. Sorry, the First Division in 1989. That was one of my favorite memories. Then comes the Wenger era, isn't it? And then we all know what happened in the Wenger era, isn't it? Wenger, came into the club from Grampus 8. Just changed everything about the club. Brought in, the likes of Overmars and Elcar. Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, Emmanuel Petit. You know, he brought in some of the best footballers, you know, I've seen at the club, you know, and to this day, you know, I've got hella respect for, you know, Arsene Wenger. Did he stay on longer than he should have? Yes. Did he make a lot of mistakes? Yes, he did. But you know what? He brought us 3 titles, 3 Premier Leagues, you know, FA Cups galore. The only disappointment is, you know, we didn't bring home the Champions League in 2006. That was one of the most. That was another downtime, man, for me. When you know we went into that final, Lehman gets sent off literally straight away in that game for some stupidness. And then we're down to 10 men. But those 10 men that we was down to, yeah, we were still cooking. We were still cooking Barcelona. Henry had bare chances to win us that game and he just flopped. He just flopped, man. And boy, that was heartbreaking. And to this day, we're still bantered about not winning, you know, the Champions League. And that was probably like, that will be probably our best. That was probably our best opportunity to win the Champions League. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We move. We move. If you ask me who my favourite player is, there's only one player. He's miles ahead of anyone else, in my opinion. And that's Thierry Henry. Record goal scorer for Arsenal. Absolute baller. You know, I love Bergkamp as well. Bergkamp's special in it. There's things that many players couldn't do what Bergkamp can do, you know, which Henry couldn't do. You know, without Bergkamp, Henry probably wouldn't be the player that he was today. But obviously, when Bergkamp left, Henry had to do what he had to do. And I've never seen a player at my club like Henry. The amount of crazy runs that guy used to do, yeah. And we're not even talking about even the goals he scored, yeah. The amount of crazy runs and assists to players that would miss were crazy, yeah. He used to do some mad stuff like doing kick-ups, like running with the ball and all that kind of stuff, and doing the no-look passes and all that kind of stuff. And there's nothing better than meeting, you know, the player that you idolize growing up. And I remember, and I'll tell you a little story that you probably got to laugh at as well. So I've met obviously Tony Adams. It's funny because when I was doing my sports science degree in the 90s, I think, was it early 2000s? It was just 2000s. I went to uni, done a sports science degree, and guess who was in my bloody group? Tony Adams. Mr. Tony Adams. He was in my group. It was funny because he was very quiet. You know, he was a very quiet guy. He used to just get on with his work and stuff like that. Rarely used to speak to him. If actually, I don't even think I actually did. I've just probably said hello a few times. But yeah, he seemed all right. I know there were some idiots in the class. One group or one semester we had where we were all sitting down in a lesson, and someone decided to get roll up a paper ball and just throw it at the back of Tony Adams' head. I was thinking to myself, this guy will nut you to like pause or headbutt you to the, you know what I'm saying, yeah? The 20th century. And I remember he just sat there and he didn't flinch, he didn't move, he didn't do anything. And I was like, nah, you lot are taking the piss, man. Throwing shit at him. But yeah, that was Tony Adams, man. And it was like, wow, how can I go to uni and, you know, one of the Arsenal legends. I'm sitting in the same room as an Arsenal legend, like literally every day, seeing this guy at university. It was mental, you know, but I weren't going to do the starstruck thing, but I'll give you a funny memory as well. And this is probably one of my favorite memories of meeting like a player. So I worked for Sky, contracted for Sky for a bit. And obviously you get to see, you know, a lot of players and, you know, sports people that come here, there and everywhere and stuff like that. And one day, for some reason, because obviously when you work for Sky, you can park, they've got car parks all over the place. You know what I mean? You can't always park on site. So you can park in allocated places and stuff. So I just thought, one particular day, yeah, I just parked in an allocated space. And I thought, let me just walk through. Let me just walk to the Sky building today. About a 10-minute walk, you know. You go through the goals, you walk through there. So as I'm coming into the Sky area now, because you know what, there's a lot of buildings, a lot of roads around that area. I'm walking down and I can see like loads of people around this one person, like about 5-6 people, like media people around one person. So I'm like, who's this? Who's this, man? So I'm just walking, just whatever, I just mind my business. And as I get closer, I'm like, nah, that's not TT, is it? Man like Henri, you know. Man like Henri, yeah, the ledge, just walking like towards me with his peoples, yeah. I was like, listen. And I remember those were the times where, yeah, get a selfie and blah, blah, blah. I was so thinged at the time, yeah, to get my phone out. Yeah, I was so shook to get my phone out that I thought, you know what, allow it. I'm just going to talk to him. So I just went up to him, I got my legend, bam, shook his hand, hugged him. And like, he's like, yeah, how are you? And all that. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, man. You know what I mean? It's nice to meet you and everything and stuff like that. And like, that was it, you know what I mean? My baller and all that. And that was it. And then, do you know what I mean? That was probably one of my greatest memories of meeting players. In terms of goals, man, there's been a lot of goals. There's been a lot of goals that we scored. One in particular, though, was against Man United. And I don't know what year it was, but Henri done the mad thing against Barthez. And I remember I was away, I was on holiday, and I hadn't watched the match. And I was scrambling at all these places to like see if has Arsenal won? What's going on? Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I remember standing outside some bar, and I remember seeing the goal where he just like lifted it up, swiveled round, and banged it. Yeah, top bins past Barthez. Yeah, and I remember him doing that celebration like that, bro. That goal will always be a memory for me. But there's loads of memories. There's loads of goals. Arsenal scored that, you know, could be memories and stuff. But that goal specifically, you know, sticks out to me more than anything. So tell us about your club. You know, I've told you about a lot of my memories. There's probably loads more memories that I can talk about, you know. The future though, because you know it's good to speak about the future and stuff like that. Let's talk about the present in it first. So I'm not too sure about where the club's going right now. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what direction the club's going in, because since David Dean left, you know, this club's just gone to shit, to be honest. It's you know, we're just falling behind. you know, the bigger clubs, you know, I won't say bigger clubs, but the better clubs. We've fallen behind the likes of Chelsea, you know, the likes of City. We can argue that, you know, and I know there's people that's probably watching this and probably just like taking down notes. Let's clip this, let's clip that, but you can clip whatever you want. I'm real with it, innit? And you know, we've definitely regressed majorly. You know, for me to be talking about titles in the 90s, yeah, and the early 2000s just goes to show how much we've regressed. I mean, I'm talking major titles. You know, we've not kicked on from, you know, since 2004, 2005. We've not kicked on. We can talk about all the FA Cups we've won and all that kind of stuff, but you know, majors, you know, we're in it for the majors, you know, we're in it for the pain in it to get the majors. And presently, the club, the direction they're going in now, people can go and babble on about we come second, whatever. I don't care about seconds. When I was in school, you had to win. Second place didn't mean nothing, yeah, and it still means nothing to me. Third, fourth doesn't mean anything to me. The prize is number one, being number one, yeah. That's where you get your respect. For me, though, we've just got to this point and we're just happy. We see this as success. We see being in Europe as a success, you know. We see being behind Man City as a success. But it's not a success, you know. If we had beaten Man City last season to the title and the first season that we had done it, no one in the world, yeah, can talk to me. Yeah. Obviously, teams can talk to us because we haven't won the Champions League. But in terms of the Premier League, winning those titles, yeah, no one been able to speak to me, yeah, over the last couple of years. But we've made it so that we have a manager now that is just happy just to collect his money and just be average within a league. So presently, this season, as you can see it, we're failing. You know, people can talk about the best defense and all that rubbish. So what? We haven't got the best attack, have we? You know, marry these positions, innit? You know, best defense, best midfield, and best attack. That's what you need. I don't see what is so difficult about doing things like this. So presently, we're not a very good team. I don't think we're a very good team. And we kind of shown that against Newcastle, who are on the up, by the way. You know, Newcastle went through their injuries last season. You know, they were poor, not great last couple of seasons. Actually, they were good in the Champions League. Well, they got robbed in the Champions League. You can argue about that, but this isn't about other teams. It's about my team. Big up to AFC, always in the building. No one's going to remember Arsenal finishing second twice in 10 years. Listen, mate, I need to get you on this. Yeah, I need to get you on this talking about your club, bro. The club fell for 21 years. Definitely did. So the future for me now, we need a new manager. We can't be having managers that are just rookies, hardly any experience of winning anything, or even being close to winning anything. You know, I just think that the future, there's so much talented managers out there. I could reel off a list to you, man, there, yeah, if I want to, yeah, but I'm not going to because that's for another show. But we definitely need someone that knows how to know, has the know-how. Arsenal, Arteta doesn't have the know-how. We need new ownership and a manager. That's correct. I would take, you know what, people are going to laugh at this, but I would take a Roman who doesn't care type of manager right now. Owner that is just like, you know what, you don't bring something home one season, bye, you know, sack, bring in a new manager. I'll take that model. Yeah, 10 years of winning. Yeah, 10 years of winning trophies. I'll take that. Champions League, Premier League, I'll take that. Because no owner in this world, yeah, is 100% genuine. 100% genuine. No manager is 100% genuine. But the future for me, that's what it looks like. Bring in better players. Not every player has to be world class, but bring in players that can actually play together. Players that actually want it. Players that have mentality. Yeah. Not every player has to be, you know, average. You know, I'm seeing like players like Mamouche now. Man City looking at players like Mamouche now. Do we not need a player like that more than Man City? Man City want to get back to winning. Yeah. You know, they're going to take one. They're sacrificing this season, and they still can win. They still can win a cup. They still can win the FA Cup. They still can win the Champions League. Yeah, don't sleep on City, because when City start get going, they could also finish second in the league still, because they have the know-how. And who knows? Who knows what can happen? Who knows what can happen? Yeah. But yeah, if you're watching it now or later, just look on my past memories while I talk about my team. There's so many other things I can talk about, you know, in terms of my team. And when you hear the fan today, because obviously I'm an old school fan, when you hear the fan today disrespect your team, when you've seen certain things with your team, yeah, you just want to just grip them up, bro. I'm telling you, you just want to grip them and like, don't talk to me about my team, bro. You've been watching football for like five years, yeah. And you want to tell me that I have not seen success? I've seen my teams with success. Maybe not Champions League, but my team's won a European Cup. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, whether it's the Champions League or not, it's not a Champions League, but we've won a European Cup. So, you know, don't tell me we haven't won a European Cup, because we have. I remember. I actually watched it. You know what I'm saying? 4 in the building. Make sure you smash the lights, people, man. First time I'm asking. We haven't won a league title on the Conkeys. That's a madness, bro. That's a madness, bro. Madness. One of the other memories as well, obviously, going unbeaten. But the memory I have about that unbeaten season is a negative one, because I still remember that Rooney dive when we played Man United at Old Trafford to break our unbeaten run. That was the memory I have of that. You know, absolute shocking. But you know what? It is what it is. Is it one of my fondest memories? No. As I said, 1989 was my fondest memory. Winning against Liverpool, the best team in Europe at the time. Yeah. No team can chat to Liverpool them times there, you know, except for us. And we got our team over the line. Yeah. So I've spoken about the past, I've spoken about the present, and I've spoken about the future. God willing. Just want to see this team, you know, winning Prems to start off with. Champions Leagues, focus on that some other point, because we're not good enough as a team. We don't have a good enough squad. We don't have good enough strikers. So forget about that for now. the main thing though that I want to see from this club, yeah, and AFC mentioned it as well, is get the owners out. But we're not going to be able to get the owners out right now. That's just a pipe dream. But what we can wish is for this manager. But if this manager gets sacked, they're only going to bring in another yes man, aren't they? You know, probably an ex-player, you know, and a yes man ex-player. So it's a vicious circle, isn't it? Or a vicious cycle, I should say. That's never going to change. So yeah, do you know what? These are my opinions on my club, innit? You know, I don't go with the narrative or what everyone thinks and stuff like that. I just want to see my team winning again. I'm just sick of being the banter club. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. Sick of being the banter club. Arsenal spent 800 million in 5 years and we need another rebuild. See, Fabregas next manager. He's at Como now, isn't he? He's at Como now, isn't he? How are they doing? Ain't they in the first division or something? What are they? I want to see what league doing and how he's doing. So, are they in Serie A? Like 16th in the league, man. They've only won 4 games, drawn 6, lost 8. Nah, can't take Fabregas, man. We need someone that's gonna be. We need a top manager, and that's the thing is with Arsenal. It's always been that way. You know, we went from the likes of George Graham, Arsene Wenger, to no name. You know, obviously Emery was a big manager at the time as well. Obviously, weren't successful, but we went from 3 competent managers to like Mikel Arteta, who for me as a player weren't even that great. For Everton he was decent, but when he came to Arsenal he was okay, you know, crab footballer, left, right, side, had a good free kick in him, good penalty taker. But for me, and I remember actually watching him at the Emirates as well, thinking, well, I don't even rate this guy no more, man. And this guy just, you know, when you're in the right place at the right time, that's when I thought, you know what, I've never really, in the 5 years, really been happy with this guy. People can call me ungrateful, but when you don't warm to someone, you don't warm to someone. And those 2 seasons where we came second, yeah, we're always going to be remembered for bottling the leagues, not for, you know, competing, but for bottling it. And that's unforgivable, man. That's unforgivable with a manager. You wouldn't go to work, yeah, and, you know, put in a half job. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, if you're competing against someone and just think, you know what, well, at least, you know what, at least I've just done whatever I'm doing. You know, if your manager says, I want you to be the best, yeah, you're gonna want to compete, you know, against this other person. You're gonna want to be number 1 because you know there may be a promotion in there for you. You know, you might get promoted. You know, you're not going to do a half job. You're going to do the best job you can do. And for me, not bringing in the players for whatever reason he has, you know, is going to stagnate the club even more. And we're going to see over the next few days, because we can be out of 2 cups within the next few days. And now then you will start to see fans, you know, rebelling and going against the manager, where, you know, the real fans, I would say, have never taken to this manager. There's always been airing their concerns, you know, about this manager throughout his whole tenure. And so what if he's brought us an FA Cup? So what? One FA Cup in 5-6 years? Really? Would you accept that in your club? Well, as a top club, would you accept that? Maybe some of you would, maybe some of you won't. But this person, I'm not accepting that. When you watch this video back, and I tell you about the experiences I've gone through and I've seen with my club, yeah, you think it's enough to just accept 21 years without, a major. I'm not talking about major. We're talking about Premier League and Champions League. 2006. That was the last time we were successful, or actually, no, we weren't successful. That was the last time we were able to get to the Champions League final. First ever and last. And we keep failing and failing every time. Something is not right conditionally with this club. But anyway, I'm going to be reaching out to one of you, man. Big up to Zir Talks in the building, man. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Hope you're well. Big up to the Coach's Corner. Make sure you go and sub to these, man, if you haven't subbed to these, man, already. I remember when I thought Arsenal was named after Arsene Wenger. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Chelsea were nothing under Ken Bates. Yeah, and we can talk about, and listen, that's a show for someone else. But listen, people, I'm going to be reaching out to you because this is going to be a regular type of show where I'm going to be choosing someone randomly to talk about their club. And just talk about, their experiences, what their aspirations for the future, their favorite manager, their favorite team, all of that kind of stuff, favorite moments. So yeah, group, look out for my message. If I message you, then let me know. And it's open to any of you guys. If you want to come on and talk about your club, you can do that. But me, I'm sharing just some vague memories, early memories of my team and what I loved about Arsenal back then. But anyway, people, yeah, I wanted it to be a quick one, but almost like an hour of talking about, my club, as Deji would say. Who wants to step up next? Let me know, innit? Tell us about your club, people. Maybe it'd probably be a bit more structured because I weren't expecting to talk about my club. I was expecting to question people about their clubs, but hopefully we get someone on next time and they can, talk about their club. And we're throwing a few quiz questions as well for the likes of those guys as well, to see how good or how well they actually know their club as well. But yeah, people, man, it's been nice. Make sure you like. If you're new, subscribe up the thing. If not, then well, enjoy the video, people. And yeah, we're out, man. Have a great day. God bless. Peace.